Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Alicia Wrights, writer, reader, and creative chaos enthusiast, also frequent coffee drinker. So I decided to give myself a challenge. Write 3,000 words in 2 hours. Was it my best choice in the world? Possibly. Was it cathartic? Definitely. Did I start spiraling around the 42-minute mark? Yeah, I did. So light a candle, grab a drink, and settle in while I attempt the impossible. Write 3,000 words in 2 hours without losing my mind. So before I begin the sprint though, I needed to gather the essentials. First one is vibes. So I mood boarded what I felt best represented the series. And if I haven't already stated this before, this series is going to be a paranormal mystery with magical realism, sprinkled in with a bit of slow burn romance. So I picked pictures that matched that vibe. Going for a very Mulder Scully, X-Files meets witches meets cult meets old Eastern town. We've mostly got the vibes down. I needed a few other things. First was my notebook, handy and ready. Second was a full cup of coffee in my favorite coffee mug. Third was my brain, which frankly was protesting doing anything at that point. And the last thing I needed was music and a timer. I have seen these before, and so I went out and searched for writing sessions on YouTube. These are pre-built videos that are roughly about 2 hours long. They're broken up usually into 4 sprints. And I really like the ones by Abby Emmons. There's a playlist of them. I will link that down below. One of those is kind of matching the vibe of the story, which is a spooky, haunted, Victorian manor type of aesthetic. So kicking this off, I was fully prepared because today's word dump was not about perfection. It was about momentum. It was about getting the first 2 chapters drafted. That was my goal. I figured 3,000 words, I should be able to get through 2 chapters. And then came the side quest, right off the bat, of backstory and lore, because I realized I needed to flesh out A, how my paranormal elements were even going to work, B, how the infrastructure of the town was going to work. You know, who does what, who's in charge of who, and who is the, main overlords of this place. And so I spent the first sprint and a half doing backstory and lore. Am I upset about this? No, because frankly it had to happen. I needed that framework because I'm going to be referencing it throughout the entire series. Did it mess up my word count and potentially cause me to not hit 3,000 words? Well, you'll find out at the end of this video. About midway through sprint 2, I was able to at least start on the first draft, and I did kick a lot of butt. I knew I had to kind of gain a lot of ground back, and I just flat out did about 1,500 words in half the time I probably should have. Which I was like, yes, momentum is going, I am on a roll. And then we hit the midpoint, the end of sprint 2 going into sprint 3. So I did a quick little checkup, which you'll see next. We are officially halfway through the writing sprint, and we have hit total 2,333 words. If
if you count all the lore and the world building I just did and the work I've done in chapter 1 so far. So chapter 1 though is only sitting at about 1,500 words. I'm gonna probably wrap chapter 1 up and then work on chapter 2 to hit that target of 3,000 words.
So sprint 3. I really struggled here. I spent the majority of sprint 3 trying to finish off chapter 1. Here I was going into it thinking, this will be easy. I'm almost done. I'm already at 1,500 words in chapter 1. I just need to round out what's going on and leave it at a good stopping point to get into. It will be chapter 3, but the next chapter of this character's point of view. That took a significant amount of brain power and a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I also at that point probably had hit about the 3,000 word mark, which is about when my brain seems to start to spiral. So needless to say, by the time I finally got to sprint 4, I had just started chapter 2. I did pick up a lot of momentum as I started chapter 2. I did go back and edit as I was writing a little bit. There's a couple things I started to write that just didn't make sense, didn't seem like it currently fit the character, and I just didn't like. So I deleted it and tried again. Which, I mean, that's the point of these things. The point is not to have a fully polished draft right out of the gate. I know I'm coming back and re-editing these, and in all likelihood, probably completely rewriting them. But it feels good to have them down on paper, so to speak. Sprint 4 also was the one that seemed to go the fastest, and I was really pushing myself towards the end because I knew I was getting close to that 3,000 word goal of just the draft, not counting the words I had done for the backstory and the lore. But as you'll see at the end of this video, I did not quite hit the 3,000 word goal. But I'm not sad about it. I still feel like I got a lot accomplished. I still feel like I not only did my best, but I did exceed my goal. Because if you count the backstory and the lore, I did hit the 3,000 word mark. You know, I just went on a few side quests, and that's fine. Chapter 2 also was a little bit of a struggle because this is where you actually switch into the second character's point of view, and I definitely felt like I was struggling to kind of find his voice. I think that will kind of resolve itself as I continue to write and really kind of get the emotions and the nuance of how they sound down. And again, that is something I knew was likely going to happen. I knew I was not going to come out with a fully polished first draft at the end of this, because that is an absolutely unrealistic expectation to put on anyone. Don't do it. I can see you there. I know you're doing it, but don't do it. So as I head into the end of this 4th sprint, I was feeling like I actually did get a lot accomplished. I named a character that currently up until that point had been referred to by his title, because why not? And I did get I would say probably a third of chapter 2 done. Maybe closer pushing to a half. I really enjoyed this 2-hour time challenge. I enjoyed the fact that I had a cool playlist to use, and I will definitely be doing these again. Will I be filming this again? That frankly is up to you guys. Likely these writing challenges will become shorts because frankly I don't know exactly what to talk about in these unless you like to just listen to my chaotic ramblings, which if you do, let me know, and I will film more of these in the longer format. I do also have other writing challenges I'd like to try, like author routine challenges that will kind of fill this space to kind of give me more momentum and to try something new, because I feel like once I get a couple of these sprints done, I'll want to try a new challenge anyways. I am very happy where I left off in my progress, and I'm excited to see where this story goes. This is something I never thought I would do or even put out on the internet. So please, 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 if you want more of this behind the scenes chaos, subscribe, leave a comment down below, leave a like. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you've ever tried a sprint like this, let me know. I want to hear how it went for you. So, final tallies are manuscript count is sitting at 2,870 words, and the session target, I did do 3,695 words, even though most of those were part of a side quest. So, thanks for hanging out while I push through this challenge. Until next time, toodaloo!